Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our second series of the night. It will be between KG.Luminous and EHOME. It is, of course, MLPDota, joined by johnxfire. John, we're finally here for the second series, and it feels like everything today has just been delayed, but at the very least, I thought we were going to be a lot, really delayed. They were at a best of three EHOME, but nevertheless, we're here.
Yeah, all things considered, that was fairly quick. And, well, we'll see just how well EHOME can handle playing back-to-back series. This is the second time today, isn't it? And the third time overall, so I'm keen to see whether Gaming.Luminous will perform a bit better than their main team a while ago. It was against LGD, of course, but we'll see how they shape up against EHOME in this series, Mike. I do believe, it is pretty important at this point, whoever wins, because they do want to stay in that upper half, of course, to make it into the playoffs. So, very important game for both of these teams, as they'd want to secure that spot. Right now, VG in their group, I believe, is on the top, but that second and third place is definitely up for grabs.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the draft's already started, John. KG.Luminous, they've gone for the Beastmaster first pick. EHOME, they do go for the Lich. And, of course, we see again the Phantom Assassin being picked up very early on, which, to be honest, I'm very shocked by.
I do like it, Mike. I just like Phantom Assassin in general, as you know. But I feel like in conjunction with the Lich, you're going to be able to do a lot once you blink in. That Frost Armor slow is just going to make it so much harder for anyone to run away from you. And again, the buff to her Phantom Strike just means that she can basically attack even more than before. Like before, it was limited to what, 3-4 attacks. Now it's got the time limit now. Just like Juggernaut's Omni Slash is not limited by slashes, it's limited to a certain set of time, and you can do so much more. It lets you scale a bit better as you go into that late game. But I do like the response from KG.L. Phoenix up against the Phantom Assassin. It's going to be hard for that PA to maximize her damage when she attacks a bit too slow, Mike.
Absolutely. So that Phoenix could be a massive counter towards that PA. At the very least, until she gets a BKB. Once the BKB is up, it's not so much an issue. But we'll see how that goes. Of course, it does take time, and generally BKB is not the first item you want to go for with a PA. Although we have seen it in the past, if required. But I've got to say, I like this combination, John. KG.Luminous, they got the Phoenix for the PA, and assuming she gets a BKB, you've still got the Beastmaster there. With that Raw, he doesn't really care about your magic immunity. It does go through, and that way you've still got the lockdown.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a rough time for this PA. I do, again, like the response from KG.L. Gives him really good team fight. Although you will have to watch out. One thing I always like to point out, when that Beastmaster is there, you do have that vision with Hawks, but with PA's rework to blur, you're not always safe, even if you have vision. So you have to always kind of keep that aware, keep that in mind. When you're checking the minimap, PA could just press her E, and suddenly she's smoked up by herself.
Yeah, that is true. Though I've got to admit, John, we haven't had, like, mind you, every time we see PA, it feels like the game doesn't last very long. But we haven't really been able to see that taken advantage of too much in these games that we've casted with PA.
Yeah, not quite yet. I think the main thing that really just makes her straight up powerful right now is the change to Phantom Strike. Again, that blink, that buff used to be limited to a certain set of attacks, certain amount of attacks, but now that it's based on a duration, you can do so much more. So just that alone is enough to really boost your viability. If your target dies in one hit, it's not limited to that target either. You still get the attack speed bonus when attacking other targets now. So that's really something that pumped up her viability, in my opinion, Mike.
Certainly so. Shadow Shaman, though, the third pickup for EHOME now. Getting a little lockdown with that Shadow Shaman. A nice pickup. Especially against that Phoenix, who does require to just jump in there, throw out the spirits and get the egg off. But if you can find the Hex in time, it does make it very hard for the Phoenix to actually do anything within these team fights. KG.Luminous, we'll see how they respond to this.
5 seconds remaining.
I guess on either side, we don't really see any, real strategy coming out yet. Like it's just pretty much the nice, comfortable, and popular picks in this patch so far.
Yeah, definitely so. Nothing really ties up these drafts just yet. It's just pretty good in general, not really clumping themselves up to any single sort of strategy. I think the one thing EHOME needs to watch out for is that their team fight is a bit lacking. Again, you only have the Shadow Shaman so far for control, for hard lockdown at the very least. Your Lich does have good control with a gaze and the slow from Frost Armor. It's not going to be holding anyone for, like something like a Shadow, like a Sand King, something like like a Centaur as well. You don't have that big AoE stun, big AoE control, and that could cause issues as KG.L does have very good team fight now, Mike. The Winter Wyvern to tie it up as well, in combination with that Phoenix, just means that the 5v5 is actually a bit scary for KG.L.
Yeah, there's a lot of wing flapping going on in this draft at the moment, John. A lot of action. The Wyvern and the Phoenix being picked up. I mean, that Winter's Curse into the egg. It's gonna hurt if everything lands perfectly from KG.Luminous. Mind you, though, I look at the laning phase. I don't know how powerful they really are. Like, you look at the Lich and the Shadow Shaman in conjunction. It does feel like eHome does have the stronger laning as it stands right now.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Again, we've seen how the Lich and the Shadow Shaman perform in lane. They do exceptionally well for the most part. The Phoenix and Winter Wyvern, we've actually seen the Phoenix fail a couple of times. The Winter Wyvern, not yet. I believe this is the first Winter Wyvern game we're seeing in DPL for Season 6, Mike. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel
We
like it
saw it
is.
once. We saw one
Yeah,
other time, but it
okay.
like there wasn't really much influence because we have been having games that have been lasting like no time at all. So it's kind of like it practically is the first time we're seeing it in the sense that it had no influence the first time around.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see if they can, pull this Winter Wyvern off. I mean, in the last patch, it was pretty ubiquitous. You'd always see Wyvern in every other game, you'd see it picked up. Very popular hero. And just, you could pump out the Harass with your Splinter Blast, of course, and that Winter's Curse is pretty potent. Okay, this is surprising. EHOME goes for that Storm Spirit, and I'm not sure about this pick, Mike. I have to tell you, I'm really not sure about this pick. You're picking it into the Beastmaster, who can disable you quite well, even through that BKB, of course. You have the Winter Wyvern to hold you down as well. And now the Faceless Void as well. This is a very confident pick from eHome, but considering how the hero is right now with the state of the game, I'm actually not sure how much of an impact you can really expect from a Storm. But I guess eHome is a team that can pull it off. So I'm interested to see how they do with a Storm because, consider the changes to that early game. Like the Null Talisman, with all the cheap stat items now, they give you a little buff depending. So bracers give you 6% magic resist. Rate bands give you attack speed, 6 attack speed. And if I recall right, Null Talismans give you what? What was it? 6% spell amp? Something like that. It's actually not that amazing. And consider the changes to all the treads. Storm Spirit's stuck in a pretty weird spot with the changes to power treads and phase boots.
I agree with you. Mind you, Storm did receive a slight buff today, John. I think the community outrage at how poor Storm is really doing in this patch. Ice Frog saw it and he decided he agreed. They did increase his int gain per level, so he does get a bit more int. Not substantially. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was just a bit. In fact, I'm bringing it up right now.
3 to 3.2.
Yeah, it's okay. And then they receive the static remnant damage, which at max level it's doing 30 more damage. So I guess it's a bit better. But overall, I have to agree with you. Like the Storm Spirit still isn't in a very good place, and now you are going up against the Faces Void and a Wyvern and a Beastmaster, all of which are going to be more than happy to hold you down.
It's going to be a very hard Storm game. They have nothing for the laning phase early on, and of course, those are all ultimates. But you're going to have a hard time if they expend those ultimates on you, and I think that's worthwhile for KG.L. And now you also have to face off against the Lone Druid. Once you get rooted in place, you really can't do anything in Storm.
Here's my problem though with KG.Luminous, right? Like the draft doesn't look bad, but I feel like there's so much team fight, but the laning stage, I don't know if it's going to go well for them, in all honesty. Like, the Lone Druid, yeah, sure, probably be fine. The Beastmaster also pretty strong, but something tells me that it's not going to be as easy as it looks, and now it just got a bit harder. There's an Omni Knight in the field now, John.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to deal with EHOME's lineup in that lane phase for sure. But it's going to be interesting. This is a very different sort of draft from both teams. Like it's definitely very different from what we're used to seeing so far. I'm interested to see how it works out. We've seen the Omni Knight once before, and I want to see just how much impact it'll have here. Of course, it's always nice to have your PA with Guardian Angel on. She's not going to die, and I think that's a really good counterplay to the Winter Wyvern. As long as Omni Knight's not in that Winter's Curse, you just you turn on Guardian Angel, and whoever's targeted probably won't die.
Yeah. See how it goes, though. Like, if this game goes on long enough, it does feel like KG.Luminous are going to have an advantage. Like, I think we can both agree on that. If they get the levels up, assuming they can, hit all their combinations together, it should be KG.Luminous that pull it off. But at the same time, if EHOME dominate those lanes like they generally do, I don't know how you come back with this kind of draft. Like, if they take over the map, John, there's nowhere to farm. There's nowhere to get that XP, and look how XP hungry these heroes are.
It definitely is a bit greedy from KG.L. Again, that Phoenix wants his fast level 6 Winter Wyvern as well. All these heroes want their level 6 pretty fast, except maybe LD. But LD wants the levels up to get his Bear going and that Spirit Link going. So it's going to be hard once that, as you mentioned, once a certain part of the map shut down, it's going to be very hard for them to progress in that, to get their levels up, to get their items going. And for EHOME, it's going to be very easy for them to snowball. I mean, you have two very sacrificial supports. Shadow Shaman a bit greedier, but the Storm Spirit is very much sacrificial. The Omni Knight's Wall doesn't take too much to come online. And you can buy enough space for your PA and Storm to farm up with those three heroes. So I am a bit worried for KG.L. They do have to really win that laning phase, make sure they get the EXP they need to really secure nice momentum into that mid game.
Well, tell me, John, overall, like, the game hasn't started yet. I know it's hard to say, but who has the better draft?
I think overall, I'd probably have to say with the way the games go, I'd have to say EHOME's draft is a bit stronger. You're not relying on these long cooldowns. You're not relying too much on getting EXP on every single one hero. You do require quite a fair bit of farm in the Storm Spirit, and I'm still not entirely sure how Storm Spirit does in this patch yet. But it should be just a bit easier for EHOME to get themselves going. Again, the issue with KG.Luminous' side is that they require a lot of EXP, and it's actually so hard to see. Once this Phoenix is behind, doesn't get his egg up, he's not going to be contributing to those team fights quite well. And without that egg, if you don't hit Phantom Assassin with your Fire Spirit, it's going to be she's going to have free reign, even if you hit her. With a change to Phantom Strike, that basically just means she's still attacking at her normal attack speed. So you will have to watch out, and you will have to get those timings right for KG.L.
Certainly so. And we do have a pause coming out. Within this pause time, I mean, we've talked about the draft probably enough, and I have no idea what that means, but the thing is, KG.L had a game against LGD yesterday, ended very quickly. And the main point we were bringing up over and over again is their draft was just too greedy, too XP hungry. That's what this draft reminds me of. That's my final word on this KG.L draft. It just looks like the same thing as when they versed LGD. Now, I'm not saying EHOME are anywhere near what LGD put out in terms of performance. Certainly not. I mean, nobody in this tournament really is close to LGD, but they are pretty good. They are pretty dominant in the tournaments we've been casting, so that's what concerns me. But we'll see how it goes. Enough about the draft, I feel.
Yeah. I am just really interested in seeing how ASD is going to do in the Storm. Just the hero itself is in a weird spot again. He wasn't really touched when 7.20 came out first. And it looks like we are going to watch Mid Void up against the Storm Spirit, so something definitely out of the norm here, Mike.
It certainly is. It almost feels like you would have rather put the lone druid down in that mid lane, but it looks like they really want to have it so the lone druid is up against Faith Beyond's Omni Knight, which does make sense in its own right. Like that Faith Beyond, already one of those characters in the scene where he's just infuriating to play against in that off lane. He just ruins it for every carry that you see, but we'll see how he does against the lone druid. It's definitely a much harder matchup.
Yeah, it's not an easy one. Again, Lone Druid can pump out the harass with his bear while focusing on last hits himself, or just really clear out all those creeps with the added attack power that the bear gives you. So it's going to be interesting to see. He's already copying quite a fair bit of harass, of course, and he did go for level 1 repel degen aura, so interesting build for Fate Beyond here. Probably wanted to pump out some harass early on.
Yeah, won't really be the case though. Though he does have a nice creep wave going towards his tier 1 tower, so he'll be able to farm pretty safely if he wishes to, which I'm sure he does. Mid lane though, ASD, top of the last hits board right now, pretty much dominating Mal, who's right like 7 last hits behind the Storm Spirit.
Not good news for Mal. It comes down to that matchup as well. I really don't think you should expect much from Void here, unless ASD gets really out of position or Mao gets some really good bashes. It's going to be a bit of a wash for the Storm, I feel.
They did also nerf that bash in the patch that came out today. I'm not exactly sure how much, I can't remember, but they did reduce the damage a bit. I think it's 30 at max level now. In fact, no, it's 40. I just looked at it. Yeah, 40 at max level instead of 60. So a slight nerf coming to the Void again. In top lane, Ego versus Y. Oh, excuse me, Ego and Y versus Xiaofu and Protoss. The PA, we talked about how this lane should be rather difficult for Ego. Seems to be doing okay for the moment. Though, of course, Xiaofu on that Beastmaster is keeping up quite well. I guess we'll just see how much it pans out when they get to those level 6 or 7 marks.
I'm really interested to see what you build up for Ego here as well. We've seen it time and time again when the PAs pick up, they still go for that Battle Fury. I'm curious to see if this is a case where you would actually go for fast fighting item like a Desolator. I think it might work out well, especially since, you know, a few of the targets are quite squishy. Beastmaster does not have too much armor, just naturally. So does the Phoenix. So if you do get a good timing in that Desolator, you should be able to blow these two heroes up quite fast.
One of the things we have been seeing with the Beastmasters, John, that like they tend to really take over the lane with those double balls that they can bring out. And well, so far, it looks like Ego is still sitting very comfortably in this mid lane. Doesn't seem to be bothered at all by the presence of the opposing heroes. Although, as I say, that they start moving forward and throwing out that harassment. The bot lane, looks like the Shadow Shaman may end up falling. That Spirit Bear is very low though, and it will end up going down, although nobody really claims the gold. And meanwhile, Zhao Fu ends up getting a kill top lane. Y on that Lich ends up falling. So a nice start for the side of KG.Luminous. They even forced the Shadow Shaman to go back down to the base.
Yeah, good start for them, and that is what you probably want to see. Slow down the really good aggression that you expect from EHOME early on, and get the EXP you need on your side. Because again, this is a very, very demanding lineup from KG.L, so they do need to secure themselves a pretty good start to make sure the ball can roll come mid-game.
Right, finds himself under a tier 3 tower. Just wanted to go for the deny on himself so he could respawn with his items. I guess the one real saving grace right now, if we're looking at laning stage, is ASD. Although, as I speak, he's getting bashed twice in a row, and he might go down right now. The Mal did not have the Time Walk available. Didn't want to risk it under the tier 1 tower. Very fortunate bashes, though, coming out for him. And he gets another one. My goodness. If he gets one more, he will not get it. But ASD is suddenly struggling a bit after those bashes coming out.
Yeah, again, I mean, it usually favors Storm, but if you get bashes like that, well, you just have to deal with, really.
Ray? Get caught out. Yeah, he's completely alone. He gets shackled up, and he is down. ASD picks up the kill for himself.
Really odd position. Maybe he was going for the bounty runes, but got caught out. I believe that is the case. Didn't manage to drop wards either, so that's a bit of a shame. But he will have a set of wards when he goes back to whatever lane he chooses.
So the laning stage still very calm. 3 kills about 6 minutes in. Looks like Xiaofu does of course go for the double bracer. Wants to really tank up, and I guess with those he is at 1.2k HP at level 4. Mao meanwhile apparently gets ASD mid lane. Faith Beyond has TP'd in, but I don't know if he can really get a kill by himself, and it looks like the answer is no, he will not. Mao, he did actually end up committing the Chronosphere for that kill on the Storm, but I think you could argue that's well worth it.
Definitely worthwhile. You do want to slow again the Storm Spirits snowball up. Storm Spirits, when they do start from behind, it's kind of hard. They have to spend a lot of time farming, but as a Storm Spirit, you also kind of want to be active in these fights with an early item, maybe an early Orchid, maybe an early Bloodstone, even Kaya in some cases. So you do want to be doing something for your team and getting gold from hero kills. Very hard to do when you don't have items yet, Mike.
White, top lane, should end up falling here. The Sun Ray burning him down slowly. Ego threw a Stifling Dagger out, but doesn't help in the end. Meanwhile, it looks like Erika does manage to find the Shadow Shaman at bot lane. Faith Beyond, again, trying to go after that Spirit Bear, but Erika, he can just... yeah, and he will. He'll just make it respawn. Put it back on cooldown, but who the hell cares about that?
Yeah, it's still fairly early on in the game. You're not really relying too much on your bear anyway. So using that respawn just to buy some time is alright. You're much more worried about feeding that 300 gold away.
Looks like the mid lane, ASD, like he's still ahead in last hits, but Mao, he has got a few more denies, and it does seem like after that kill on the Storm, he's probably caught up quite substantially. So this mid lane, you could even argue, has gone KG.Luminous' way. In fact, if you look at every single lane, that does appear to be the case. They are going after the Shaman again. Erika, going to be hoping for a lucky root. He doesn't even need it. Faith Beyond, though, got to be careful. Got a lot of damage from Erika. That bear, if he can get one swipe in, it'll probably mean a kill onto Faith Beyond. Does have a purification, though. Looks like he'll be alright.
Yeah, again, good movements coming out from KG.L. This is exactly how they want this game to start. They are finding everything on the map. They are applying a lot of pressure in EHOME. You know, EHOME does look like they are getting something from the lanes, but they're definitely dropping behind in kills. And if KG.L decides to push the issue, I think once you lose about 2 towers on EHOME, it gets a bit harder to farm up. You're going to be facing constant pressure from the supports, from the Beastmaster going around. The Hawks will keep watch over your jungle, and it just gets that much harder to grow big.
You bring up that net worth, and I mean, you look at Zhao. Actually, getting jumped right now is Zhao Fu. He may end up falling to that Sunray Heal is there to help out, and the Cold Embrace comes in, and they couldn't finish him off. Now Mao, he finds a Chronosphere onto 2 heroes, and that should mean both of them are dead. Ego trying to make a run for it, but he's not going to be able to. KG.L. We question the draft, John, but they are doing fantastic right now.
Yeah, they're playing to their strengths. They're forcing these fights whenever they can. Each time that Chronosphere is off cooldown, they've been around the map and making use of it. This is exactly how you need to play this strat. You maximize what you can do in the early game, slow down the late game coming out, slow down that mid game coming out from EHOME, and just put them in a bad spot.
Ooh, they found the Roar as well on the Storm. Ray almost going down, but the Cold Embrace keeps him safe, and ASD just gets roared up by Zhao Fu, perhaps not expecting it to still be available.
Yeah, it's rather unfortunate again. Killing the Storm is really pivotal. You slow down his snowball, and he's not doing too well in farm right now. 500 behind Void, top in his team, but you know, falling behind everyone else in Radiant, falling behind all the cores in Radiant side. Not what you want to see. You are a snowball here along with that PA. You need some of those early items, and I'm a bit worried for Ego. He's going for that Battle Fury, Mike.
Oh, we've seen this before, haven't we? We literally just saw this, in fact, in our last game. And I mean, if you get a really bad start, like, yeah, it's a great comeback item, John, but it really does slow you down in the early to mid game.
You're not going to be doing anything in team fights until that is finished. And once that's finished, you probably shouldn't be team fighting. You're going to want to farm up, clear out camps fast, clear out waves fast, and work towards the second big item, which will just really delay when you can come in these team fights. And the same thing goes for your Storm. He's going to go for a Kaya, but that's not going to be enough to really burst anyone down. You're going to need something like an Orchid or a Yule as a defensive item. And, you know, it looks like EHOME's going to have to depend on ASD to really bite in space.
Not to mention as well, John, even if you are going for the late game play, you're still up against the Void, you're still up against the Lone Druid, and in fact, ASD right now is in trouble again. So, he has the ball lightning, now Mal, going to be turned on, Aether Shock was there, but ASD, not enough mana to keep going, and Mal happily backs off. Though he has a Chrono and he jumps back in, although can the Shaman help him? He has the Shackles available just in time, ASD, he will turn it around.
That was odd. I mean, he saw the Shaman in that lane, surely.
Apparently
and
not.
I mean, that was so strange. It was very keen of him. I guess he figured he was far away enough that Shaman couldn't get off any of his spells in range, but wasn't the case. I mean, he was just perfectly outside, just outside of Chronosphere, to be held up, and if you don't finish him off there, I mean, he was also pretty low in HP, so a bit of a keen movement coming out from our faceless Void here, but they do secure that mid-tier 1, and once again, the map does start to shrink here for EHOME. They've lost all their tier 1s, it's going to be that much harder to go in and out of the jungle. At the very least, the tier 2s are still there, so part of the jungle is still safe, but further out is definitely not anymore, Mike.
No, certainly not. 8-3 now. Net worth lead 4k the way of KG.Luminous. Again, just very unexpected coming out from this team. They have not been performing the greatest over the past couple days, but well, they're really here to show up tonight. And EHOME seemingly dropping the ball a bit. We'll see if they can catch up though. They do lose their top tier 2, excuse me, they don't lose their top tier 2 tower. Not quite yet though, KG.L is taking it down. Looks like EHOME did manage to get the bot tier 1 tower. But certainly not the best trade in the world.
Definitely. So this actually kills off their entire top jungle now. You probably should not be rotating in this area if you're EHOME unless you drop and invest all the wards you can to secure that area. Otherwise, you're just going to be ganked up by KG.L. They're already just clearing out the camps themselves up there. And if that tier 2 mid faults as well, I mean, that's just that entire quadrant of the map taken out for EHOME when all their cores are really starved. I mean, Ego right now is at 4.3k. That's behind her Storm Spirit, that's behind everyone else. That's a core on the Radiant side by at least 1k. Not a good spot to be this PA. And he's still going for that Battle Fury. It's still queued up.
Yeah, but he hasn't even got a Perseverance yet. He's got no items of that Battle Fury ready to go. We're 14 minutes in, John.
It's a rough spot. Oh,
now a Chrono. ASD gets caught out, and he is not going to make it. The Raw was there anyway by the Beastmaster, just in case. And it, in fact, speaking of the Beastmaster, it seems he's aware that Ego was in his jungle. He does back off now, but ASD really having a rough game. And now the Shaman being chased up. Raw is there. Can they get a root with the bear? It looks like yes, they can. 10-3 now, John. 5k net worth lead to the side of KG.L.
It's not looking good for EHOME. Again, their PA is way too farm starved. And just going into that jungle, which is really not safe, under a ward right now. Again, losing that tier 2 up top cost them so much in terms of map control. If they keep rotating in and out of this jungle, they will just be spotted out by KG.L. The rotations will come in. We haven't even seen a big team fight yet, Mike. The Supernova, has it been used? Probably not. The Winter's Curse as well, not yet used. We've only seen the Chronosphere and the Roar coming out so far from KG.L. Not even their entire toolkit is needed right now to take these kills.
Yeah, and Protoss, he does scare out Faith Beyond as well. And Erica, he is there with the Spirit Bear. Faith Beyond, with that Heavenly Grace, will be able to back off to safety. Of course, it does heal you up passively with that HP regen. There was no Lucky Roots coming out for Erica, but still, they're sitting pretty right now. It's definitely KG.L's game to lose. I mean, you just look at ASD, like 2 kills, 3 deaths for himself. He's only got the Kaya up right now. He's trying to go for the Orchid, but again, these big items for the late game, like you still are up against the Void.
Yeah, it's still tricky, and I feel like this timing on the Orchid might not, it's definitely not going to be the best. We'll see if any sort of defensive item comes out for KG.L. So far, the only one I can see is probably that Manta style for Mao. And once that's up, at the very least, if the silence comes in, you're not going to be silenced for long if you can get that Manta style up. It really depends on what ASD prioritizes when he jumps in with that Orchid when it comes out. It's still a long time away, Mike.
Yeah.
We're speaking like it's there already, but I feel like it's about 5 to 7 minutes off.
Yeah, now you've got an Aegis on Mao Mao. They did manage to take a tier 2 bot tower, thanks to that Shadow Shaman, so doing some good work there. Though Erica will be back at that bot lane to defend, and it looks like the rest of KG.L want to go for a team fight in the mid lane. Or at the very least, they want a tier 2 tower of their own. Chrono and Aegis available on Mao Mao, Winter's Curse and Egg and Raw are all ready to go. So I feel like EHOME probably won't even take this engagement.
Yeah, they're not in position. It's only Faith Beyond and Y really down in the mid lane, although it looks like Faith Beyond might be playing with fire.
Ooh, they get a Raw on the Lich as well, and yeah, Faith Beyond, he definitely was playing with fire. He burns under the Sunray. Y will throw out the Chain Frost, but Mao? Really?
Huh?
No, Mao, come on.
That's a lot of bounces. It just kept bouncing back to him, Mike. Just really unfortunate.
Yeah, he
For
does
Mao,
have an Aegis. He does have an Aegis.
Yeah, I mean, that would not have been the ideal way of popping your Aegis. But he stays alive, and that is the tier 3 under pressure now.
ASD zipping through, trying to deal some damage, though Sunray will be there, and again, Mao, 10 stick charges available, Aegis ready to go. He's more than happy to go for a Rax with the rest of his team, although Faith Beyond comes back in. Chrono is not available for another 80 seconds, though they still do hold on to that Winter's Curse and Egg, so there's that other combination you can rely on. And there's not exactly a way for the side of EHOME to block those spells coming in, so if they can catch ASD right now with that Winter's Curse, it may be enough. Serpent Wards have been dropped around the tier 3 tower. They do get the Spirit Bear, it seems. The Cold Embrace keeps it safe. Ray, he does throw out the Winter's Curse as well. The Faith Beyond, it wears off immediately.
Successful defense for EHOME. It does cost them Serpent Wards, at the very least. You know, you don't lose your tier 3. You're not going to be losing your shrines anytime soon. But the next high ground, you probably won't have those Serpent Wards. The Aegis is still up and now. The Egg is still there. The Winter's Curse, not too long for cooldown compared to the Wards.
Mid lane though, they're going to throw the Aegis away. Raw is available to go. They may want to go for this team fight. Jiaofu, who does he roar up? ASD immediately on Mao. He tries to time walk out and does do so, but they're still making the chase here. He is falling very, very low. He's been hexed up and Mao, Cold Embrace is there. He does have a time walk available, but it's not enough. He will end up falling, and now EHOME want to punish further. And Jiaofu runs back down the hill. Shackle is there. Guardian Angel comes out as well from Faith Beyond. There was a buyback on the Void, and now EHOME are the ones trying to back the hell out of there. Ego, he just got his Battle Fury up, but he may end up dying straight off the bat. The bear is chasing. No Lucky Roots quite yet, but they may not even need it. Though Chrono is there as well. Who have they caught? It is Faith Beyond. And he is going down. 2 heroes dead, no buyback available on the side of EHOME.
That was a buyback in KG.L. As you mentioned, Mao Mao did have to buy back, but I think that's worthwhile. They took down the 2 heroes that really do matter. The only way to make this sweeter is, of course, catching out ASD, but as it is, ASD is still not too threatening. Is inching ever closer towards that Orchid, but until then, you know, not the best. I mean, he's really not going to be able to do too much, and Mao Mao does have his Manta style now, so that Orchid won't be effective against a Void. Now, I feel like this could be an opening for them to try to take that high ground again. The Chain Frost is going to be up in 20 seconds though, and the wards are back up, so EHOME can defend. I feel like at some point you do have to throw that egg out with us. But we haven't seen it yet. I feel like they need to force a clean team fight now from KG.L. They can't take it staggered anymore like this. Just try to get the chrono and the egg going at the same time, and you can definitely win that 5v5.
You know, one of the problems is though, John, like, if you don't have that chrono available, and you're relying on the Roar of the Winter's Curse to set up on a hero, the main issue is if Faith Beyond isn't that hero that you're targeting, he's just going to heavily graze. And the status resist at max level is 80. So all those spells you throw out, they last for no time because of that status resist that he provides.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, and the HP region as well, it's going to help a lot. So it's that much harder to burst someone down. But again, I feel like that is why you prioritize Fate Beyond, which KG.L has been trying. They have been jumping Fate Beyond quite a fair bit. He is 0-3-2 right now, so he has been taken out a few times. I feel like he is definitely your number one target. Not the Storm, not the PA, not at this point in the game. You want Fate Beyond out of the equation, and then you can clean up quite easily.
Well, they have smoked up on the side of EHOME. Currently, though, they find absolutely nobody. It looks like they've just turned it into a bit of a warding mission. And the closest target to them is Mal, but he's hiding in the tree line right now. Seems to be aware that something's wrong, and the rest of KG.L as well are going to start pushing down that bot tier 1, bot tier 2 tower. And it looks like there will be absolutely no defense coming out of the side of EHOME.
Yeah, that looks to be a tier 2 for a tier 1. I mean, at the very least, EHOME finds something, but it's definitely not a worthwhile trade. That's the entire outside of the map now, going dark for EHOME. Their only TP points left are the shrines, and that's not the best, you know, it's not the greatest amount of control left for EHOME.
Frost Shield, Crimson Guard, all keeping this tower relatively healthy though. ASD does jump in and gets the hell back out immediately. And again, it looks like there's some hesitation here. Meanwhile, bot lane, Chrono committed. They will just find the Shaman with this. I suppose a kill's a kill, assuming they find it, and they will. Still though, without that Chrono available, EHOME just may feel safe until it's back up.
Yeah, I feel like that was a bit much to take out that Shaman. You really need that Chronosphere up, because you are pretty much the main initiation for KG.L. Like, you can start with the egg, but it's not ideal. The Winter's Curse as well, you can go for it, but I feel like your best bet is starting with Mao, landing a pretty good Chronosphere.
Oh, ASD mid lane does jump onto Xiao 8. Can they burst him down? It looks like they will get the Winter's Curse, and ASD will end up falling. Now Xiaofu still alive throughout all this. The Cold Embrace Sunray is there, and Ego is falling very, very fast. Guardian Angel comes in, ASD buys back, but there's the egg. We finally get to see that they will burst it down, it seems like, but ASD, he's going to die back, and he does! Oh no! Faith Beyond is making a run for it. Y goes down as well. Oh my, this looks really bad for EHOME now. Surely they lose at least a Rax here.
Yeah, it's probably going to fall. At the very least, the range is going to fall, but I feel like they can take out both. There is no threat right now from EHOME. Again, ultimates are down, Storm Spirit's down.
The Mal, Cold Embrace again, keeping him alive. They've got all this physical damage, and they can't burst through Mal with that Cold Embrace. Now they do take down the Lich again. That was another dieback coming out, though it looks like they have found the Beastmaster Zhao Fu, though still alive throughout all this, and Faith Beyond is the target. Ether Shock will only do a slight bit of damage, and they are going to try to punish. Got to be careful though, Roar is available in 10 seconds. Chrono will also be up in 10 seconds. In fact, KG.L may go again. They do choose to back off.
That's a fair enough choice. You don't want to risk the Storm Spirit coming back up and managing to clean up. He does do some damage now. Not the most amazing amount of damage just yet, but enough to be a threat. So you do have to watch out. Maybe wait for the next rush. It's coming out in a minute. So once that's up, I feel like KG.L is in position to really just secure it. They have good wards watching the area. They should be able to take it out quite fast. And then any objective is really up for the open.
Now. He does manage to get his BKB up as well. So it's looking that much better for the side of KG.L. Again, you look to Ego. He has got a Desolator up now, but it looks like he's going into a Moon Shard next. I don't know how much I agree with this itemization.
Honestly, I feel like it's okay, mainly because of the change to Phantom Strike. It's definitely not what comes to mind. Like, maybe okay.
Bot lane. They are going on to Mal. This is a massive kill. He does have Time Walk, but they do get the crit just in case. A very, very important kill. And Mal does not have buyback. We can't forget he did end up buying back a few minutes ago for that previous team fight. With that, again, another 80 seconds where EHOME can just delay the game out and try to get that farm up that they desperately need.
It's definitely a very good kill, and that does buy them the time they need. Right now, Ego is catching up quite well. He is just behind the Lone Druid, so he's caught up quite a fair bit. Has that Desolator up along with a Battle Fury. Again, going back to that Moon Shard, I'm not sure about that one, but I guess if you really just want to try to get as much crits as possible, more auto attacks is always good. They are going to go for Roche, but this is spotted out by some Hawks, I do believe. Yes,
yeah,
it is.
It certainly is. Xiaofu on point with it though. Roshan getting very low very quickly. They've got to make the run in. Ray is there. He's got the Winter's Curse available, but Ego again, the Heavenly Grace just removes that Winter's Curse, and now he rips one apart. Ray gets punished for that. The Chain Frost does nothing, but they found another. It's the Beastmaster Xiaofu. He's going to get bursted right now, though. No, the Sunray keeps him alive for the moment. Now the egg as well. It's not going to matter, though. Ego is just moving forward, looking for even more, and he's going after Erika. It looks like Erika has been left completely alone. He doesn't want to respawn that bear right now because he may die. He will eventually get away thanks to that Savage Roar, but another two heroes going down for the side of KG.L.
Not looking too healthy for KG.L now. Two very bad team fights going your way. The Aegis gets taken by EHOME as well. And, you know, your one racks up, but EHOME can still push quite fast. They have a Shadow Shaman. They have a PA who's getting fairly farmed up, going for a BKB now instead, which I do like to see, unless... Does he have a Hyperstone stash node? So he does have that one Hyperstone, and going straight into that BKB, I think that's going to help immensely. Sure, you still have ways of piercing through that BKB, but he's still going to have pretty much a free time if you don't dedicate all those big ultimates on the PA. And, you know, so far it looks like KG.L does prioritize stunning up the Storm Spirit or Fate Beyond Somni Knight. Now they're going to have to worry about that PA much more. The damage output's just getting a bit wacky. And I feel like we still haven't seen an amazing 5v5 from KG.L yet. They have all the tools. They just haven't gotten a good, you know, an amazing 5v5 team fight yet. With good use of the Chrono along with the Egg, along with the Winter's Curse altogether. Not yet, Mike.
Like I said, John, I don't think they can rely on the Winter's Curse. Unless it's Faith Beyond they're getting. In which case, the rest of them are going to be there to back him up anyway. It's all reliant on that Chrono. It's got to be a Chrono into the Egg. That's what they need right now. EHOME do send something wrong. They do back off. The side of KG.L, they have the Chrono up. In fact, every ultimate is available for them. And it is so the same with EHOME, although Guardian Angel is down. Bloodstone is also coming up onto ASD. Xiaofu does show himself mid lane, but again, a lot of hesitation from EHOME to try and initiate. Aegis is still available on Ego, so I guess that's why they're considering it, but it looks like they do plan to just maybe farm up that BKB first instead.
It's a fair enough choice. You do want at least that guarantee that the PA can still get away with stuff, this, you know, if the ultimates are not thrown out on her. And that's fair enough. That is what you want to do as the PA. They are going to take these shrines now coming out for KG.L, so... And that last bit of map control is finally going away for EHOME, which makes it a bit hard. They are smoking up though.
Yeah, who do they aim though? If they can get that Void, well, they're going to go for Ray instead, and Ray just disappears. Ego just takes him out immediately. No crits even coming out yet. Meanwhile, who else have they got there? It is Xiaofu, it seems. Jiaofu did have the Lotus Orb available, though now the Hex comes out and Jiaofu, Chrono comes out with the Egg as well. They've caught 2 of them, but the Guardian Angel is there to save, and now they will get Jiaofu. Egg does end up finishing, but they can't really follow up with that stun. And now EHOME, they look like they're at that point now where they just can't really be stopped in these team fights.
Definitely looks that way. That tier 1 mid just gonna melt down. The wards were dropped here as well. And I don't see EHOME backing off. All the big ultimates have been expended. Maybe when the Beastmaster and that Winter Wyvern's back up, they're gonna be threatened by the War and Winter's Curse, but it's still 20 seconds. I mean, you see how fast they're pushing right now, Mike. This tier 3's not gonna hold.
It's kind of ridiculous how fast they're pushing. Like, you haven't got any really great sieging heroes apart from the Shaman yet. Ego, with that Desolator, is doing a lot of work, and they're going to take a Rax off this by the looks of it. KG.L probably can't even afford to come in and try and defend. They're going to get the Spirit Bearer as well. Ego picks that one up for himself. Ego still has the Aegis, though it will tick out very, very soon. Yeah, it looks like they are just going to let it expire, although Mao does cop a 1k crit. And now that'll be it. They'll let it expire. Jiaofu gets hexed up. Though it does look like the Shaman is alone now, and he will just make a run to the Bounty Ruins.
Very good set of fights for EHOME again. They managed to take back the net worth lead just by 1k. Right around that figure. And Ego is now a very big problem, Mike. You know, we were questioning the Moon Chart. It's working out well. It really helps in push, because you can attack that much more often. And in the team fights again, in conjunction with Phantom Strike, with that, you know, now duration based, you do so much more in those 2.5 seconds when you have that much more attack speed as well. So you will be flying out with the crits, doing so much more damage. I'm gonna finish up that Satanic in a fair bit as well, with that Reaver being queued up. And once that Satanic is out, I'm not sure how you really force this down without expending the Chronosphere on the PA every single time.
Wasty. Bot lane gets caught out with the Roar, and that is a massive kill. Really unusual mistake to make from ASD, like getting caught out like that. Shaman was in the tree line behind him, but it was just all too fast. I don't think there was anything he could have done to help out.
They are, you know, they are buying some space, I guess. That was some space that EHOME can use to farm up some more in Ego. I feel like they're really putting all their eggs in one basket, really counting on this PA to carry them through, which I feel like it is definitely very possible, although that tier 3 down bot is going to be under threat now, and there is a buyback on the Storm Spirit. I'm not sure if they expended here.
Spirit Bear gets absolutely destroyed. That was kind of ridiculous. And now KG.L may not be feeling very comfortable to go back in. The Bear is on cooldown for another 15 seconds or so. Now needs to land a massive chrono to turn this around. EHOME are standing pretty spread out. Wards have already been committed as well for the defense. Mao, he'll go into 2 with that chrono. Can he burst them down? The Guardian Angel comes out, though they do get the Roar off. It's just too late. Ego, he makes his way out. Now Winter's Curse comes out, and the root on Faith Beyond. Chain Frost as well. The egg never comes out because he gets shackled immediately, and ASD comes in now. They're going to punish the side of KG.L surely for this. And it looks like they are on their way. Ego, he'll get Ray, and it looks like the lone druid. I don't know how Erica gets out of this one. What?
Just a roar, apparently, Mike.
He savage. I'm sorry, I didn't see the animation for that. I was wondering why they were backing off. Yep. Still though, making a run for it, Erica. TP. Oh, he gets the Hex off just a millisecond before it works out. Oh no. KG.L now 3 heroes down. Disastrous team fight at that tier 3 tower, and look at the line being drawn out through the mid lane. You know exactly what the side of EHOME want to get done.
Definitely so. EHOME looking out for blood now. You know the Chronosphere is going to be down for a little longer. You know that the Winter's Curse is going to be down for, although it's fairly short cooldowns now, but that Chronosphere is down for a bit. The egg is still up, so they have to watch out for that. But I'm pretty sure EHOME feels very strong, and I don't blame them for feeling that way, Mike. Satanic is finally out in Ego as well, so he does lifesteal for quite a fair bit. You have nothing really stopping Ego from regaining a lot of mana, a lot of HP fast. No Urn coming out, no Vessel coming out really. Spirit Vessel will slow that down. So Ego should be just fine jumping in with a BKB.
Yeah. As I mentioned, look at Ego, critting for about 1.5k right now. That is gonna hurt. In fact, there's gonna be a couple supports I believe that will just disappear because of that crit. In fact, Winter Wyvern's one of them. The Phoenix, not so much. But if the Wyvern gets crit by the PA, John, she is gone.
Definitely. Just no saving that. Ray is probably not going to be too happy when that happens, but it is the way it is. I mean, that's Phantom Assassins, right? They really excel in burst damage. I think you'd be very remiss if a Phantom Assassin was not good at burst.
Certainly so. Roshan is up, by the way. I don't know if the side of EHOME have actually scouted that out. They do get an Arcane Rune on ASD, and it's been bottled up, so I believe they probably want to go for a team fight now. The Guardian Angel is down for another few seconds. It will be available now. Mal looking for a chrono attempt. Does he find anyone? He does find Mal. Where's Faith Beyond? No Guardian Angel quite yet, though. ASD in the backlines comes out, and now the Guardian Angel. The egg is down, but what's it going to matter if it gets bursted? In fact, they're not even aiming it right now. The Chain Frost is bouncing between KG.L, and again, it looks like EHOME is going to come out on top. They will end up finding a secondary, and they make that a third with the Phoenix. The Wyvern brought back throughout all that, but it's too late, and they call GG.
I mean, I don't blame them. That's all their tools really going out, and that was probably one of the better initiations they could ask for, but not quite enough. Faith Beyond is always there, really, to just ruin their plans, and you know, I feel like they missed their timing. They gave way too much back to EHOME. 20 to 18, 37 minutes in. Probably one of our longer matches, Mike. But EHOME does take it in the end with a pretty good bounce back.
Yeah, it was very strange because we were saying in the drafting phase that EHOME should be the ones that get on top early and then KG.Luminous may come on late, but it was the exact opposite. And again, I do put a lot of that down to the fact that Omni Knight with the Heavenly Grace just basically removes any debuff you put on anybody. So every time you saw the Winter's Curse come out, he just puts the Heavenly Grace on them and suddenly it disappears. Just makes it completely pointless. And with that, John, we do go into our second game of the series between KG.L and EHOME. Very unfortunate for KG.L. Again, they are fighting for their tournament lives in this matchup. Of course, they do still have a bit of group stage to go, but they're not in the most amazing position right now, and EHOME certainly looking to take a 2-0. For the moment, it is MLPDota and johnxfire. Consider following on Twitter if you are enjoying and want to support us. Otherwise, we'll be right back with you guys in just a few moments.